Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Here today showing you how to replace the front brake pads and rotors on a 2018 Jeep Compass. This is the second generation Jeep Compass. I believe they started making these in 2017, I believe, maybe 16. But nonetheless, this process should work for all of the new Jeep Compasses, you know, including 2023s, 2024s. It should all be the same. The first thing you want to do obviously is to jack up the car and get it on jack stands. I do have it on jack stands now, even though it doesn't look like it. It definitely is off the ground. And you want to go on ahead and get these wheels off. I believe these are 19 millimeter lug nuts. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these wheels off and show you guys how to replace the brakes. All right, so once you get the wheel off, obviously you'll be staring at the brakes here. What you want to do is to remove this retaining screw right here for the rotor. I went on ahead and sprayed some PB Blaster on this beforehand just to try and aid in getting this off, because sometimes these can be stuck on pretty good. You will be using a 5 millimeter Allen wrench, or I'm using a socket in my case. It's usually the easiest way. You just pull this guy off just like so, and you can just set that down. And obviously we're going to go on ahead and remove the caliper now, which is held on by 14 millimeter screws here and here, and you want to make sure you have a bungee cord or some zip ties or something so you can just hang this up here. You don't want it just to be hanging by the brake line up there. So we'll go on ahead and get this caliper off now. Alright, now that you got the caliper off, I want to go on ahead and pull out one of these old brake pads so we can compress this piston back into the caliper. Pull that out, and I just use a simple little tool like this. Very easy to use tool. You just spin it back into position. You just take this pad, just stick the old pad right onto the piston like so. Then you'll just have to let me spin this all the way back down, give me a minute. You'll take this and slide this in here like this. So you want this position just like this, pushing on the old pad, and all you do is just turn this and that'll force the piston back in. That way you'll be able to get the new brake pads into position. Gonna go ahead and remove this other brake pad out of here now. Now you do want to pay attention to where the wear indicators are. In this case, this was on the back side of the rotor. The wear indicator was on the top. So just keep in mind when you go and put the new pads on where that was at. All right, these pins, the sliding pins, you need to, every time you do brakes, pull them out. You can just pull them straight out, make sure that the little rubber protector boot just stays there in place. Pull them out, wipe them off, and then just put some new grease on them. You know, put a liberal amount of grease on it. That way, you know, they're going to be sliding and operating like they should be. I'm just using disc brake grease or wheel bearing grease, multi-purpose grease. Grease it up, slide it back in there, and it's good to go. And you'll just do the same for the bottom one. Just like so. Now it doesn't matter what order you do that in. You can do that when you have the caliper bracket off the car or not. It really doesn't matter. It's entirely up to you and how you want to go about doing that. I just like to do it right there because it's just an easy thing to do. So now we need to get to the caliper bracket bolts, which are just here in the back. Now you can see it's these guys right here. This one that I'm pointing with, there's two of them. One right here and one right there. And as you can tell, they're not your traditional type of fasteners. They're actually using a external Torx, and I believe the size is an E20. I don't have an E20, so what I'm going to use is a 16 millimeter 6-point socket. Should just slide straight over this like that. Shouldn't have any problems taking this off. Let me show you guys what the actual socket might look like. I just don't have one that big. So this is what it would look like. This of course is an E10 size, or excuse me, this is an E16. The biggest one I have though is an E18, and I don't have an E20, so it will look like this, an E as in Edward, as opposed to a traditional Torx, which, you know, looks like this. Alright, got the rotor off, got the caliper bracket off right here. I'm going ahead and clean this up if you'd like with some brake cleaner or whatever. And then pretty much you're just going to stick the new rotor back on and get the caliper bracket back on and the pads and whatnot. All this stuff's pretty straightforward. Anybody can do this job at home. So let me go ahead and get the new rotor out of the box and install it onto the car. Going ahead and put the brake caliper bracket back on. I'm going ahead and slip the pads into place. If you remember, I told you to pay attention to the wear indicator and where it was at. So this one, the wear indicator is going to go on the top and in the back. And there we go, we got the new pads installed, and we'll go ahead and slip on the caliper over this and get that tightened up. Going ahead and tighten these up with a 14 millimeter. Alright, and just like that, your brakes are done. Obviously I'm not going to show you how to do the other side because it'll be exactly the same as this side. So if you have any comments or questions, ask them in the comment section below. If it's your first time on the channel, as always, I appreciate you guys stopping by, taking the time to watch the videos. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button on your way out, and I'll see you guys on the next one.